Welcome to our Women Leaders of Love Own Your Worth Wednesdays. I'm Terri-Britt. I see a few people trickling in. I have missed the last couple of weeks, I think it is. We had COVID in our household. My hubby was sick and then I got sick. So it's been an interesting time. I am feeling better, but it's perfect for the conversation today about divine timing. And the reason I say that is when we think about the new year, we think about, I'm going to get in there with gusto and I'm going to really get moving, get my life going. Well, I wasn't feeling that this year. I just kept feeling like, no, I don't feel the momentum. I'm not feeling it. We'd had a very busy holiday. And even up in starting in November, my birthday, I turned 60. We had a little bash, and then there was Thanksgiving, and then went to Honduras, and then had my grandbaby that I was taking care of, and then family. I mean, it's like boom, 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 boom. So by the time the new year came, I was like, no, I don't want to do this. I just want to breathe. Well, lo and behold, then my husband got COVID, and then I got COVID. Then we had a snowstorm. So we've been frozen up in the North Georgia mountains up until really today. So what, in my mind would have been starting off the new year 3 weeks ago, pretty much, almost 3 weeks ago, is now starting today, really, in reality. So you have to look at that and you say, okay, well, my timing in my mind, my ego was saying, I need to get going. I need to be doing so many different things. I've got so much stuff that I'm working on this year. It's so exciting. But in reality, when I didn't feel the momentum at the beginning of the year, my spirit was talking to me. My soul was saying, no, you're going to rest for a bit. And then you're going to get sick. Now, I didn't know I was going to get sick, but it was as if it was preparing me, saying, don't get started right now, Terri. It was telling me, just take some time and breathe. Be in this divine flow. Be in your divine timing. Hold on, I'm gonna let some people in right now. Hold on a second. So thankfully, I started heeding that message, especially, of course, when I got sick and my hubby got sick. It was like, okay, Spirit's really talking to me right now to slow down and to be in divine timing. When I started taking a look at this in my life, every time that I'm not in divine timing, it's because I'm trying to control. I'm trying to control the situation. There's some kind of fear going on. Maybe in the past, it was survival mode. I don't know if you can relate to that when you are not allowing yourself to be in the divine timing and the divine flow. What are you controlling? What are you afraid of? I know in the past with my work, as I was trying to bring it out, there was this sense that I had to do it on my time because it was a survival instinct. It was like, I've got to do this. I've got to get my name out there. There's so many people. That was a competition, right? That's coming from lack. That's coming from a lack of worthiness. So for me, growing up, I was a control freak. That again was it. I controlled the timing on everything. I controlled how I thought life should be, how it should pan out, in what time frame, in everything. So by doing that, what I was doing was I was actually resisting peace. I was resisting balance. I was resisting harmony. I was resisting joy. How many times do we do that, right? We get so caught up in what we think it should be and how everything should look that we resist the beauty that's right there before us. And I truly believe a lot of this gets programmed into us as children when we're in school. We're racing to get our homework done. We're racing to not be tardy in class. We're having our parents yell at us. I mean, it's always like a push, 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 push. We watch our parents pushing. We watch them pushing in the workplace. And then we grow up believing this is how we have to be. And I'll never forget when I was writing my book, Message Sent, which was, my youngest Colby now is 28 and she was probably 7 at that time, if I remember. We were in Sedona my late husband and I were getting remarried. We were having a little ceremony and having a little getaway with the kids. I remember watching Colby with her hand in the bathroom. We'd gone to the bathroom and she had her hand in the sink, playing with the water, just watching the water over her hands. My first instinct was say, come on, we got to go. We got to hurry. And then I stopped. I was so grateful I stopped as I watched her take this in. She was on her divine timing. She was in the joy and the wonder of being so present in that moment. She didn't care if we needed to rush somewhere. She just wanted to be right there in that moment. And it awakened me to how I had been pushing so much in my life of not being in divine timing, but me being in control simply out of fear. This is what we do. And then we wonder why life feels hard. We wonder why is it being so tough right now? Why isn't it working out? Why isn't it why is it taking so long? It's because when we're in control, we're not matching up with what is intended for us in the universe. So I often talk about the vibration that we hold, and that if you're wanting to create something, it has a vibration here. And if your vibration is here, then it's not going to be a match and it's going to have a hard time creating, right? Well, it's kind of the same way with divine timing. So there's a divine timing for everything. And that divine timing has this, think of it as a vibration that, oh, this is when it's happening. This is the exact moment in time. And to be in flow with that, okay, so you're in flow with it, you don't want to be in resistance. You don't want to be fighting it. If you are controlling and if you are in fear, if you are feeling like I have to make it happen now, then you are not going to match that divine flow. And it's going to feel like a tug of war. You're going to feel like you're never achieving the things you want to create. You're never receiving the things that you desire in your heart because you are in resistance. We want to let go of that resistance. And then you have to ask, well, why am I in resistance? Why am I not trusting that I can be in the divine flow? This has been a big one for me, you guys. I don't know about you, but this has been a big one for me, that why am I not trusting that everything is in divine order? And it's usually out of survival. It's usually out of how I think it should be rather than allowing. And it's usually based in my lack, right? So I'm grateful now that most of the time I live in that space of trust. But then you have to ask yourself, in those moments that you don't, why? Why? Because this is where it ties into worthiness. When you trust that you are worthy of having the universe's support, you are going to allow yourself to be in divine timing. Okay? When you are not trusting that you are worthy of the universe's support, you are going to struggle. You're not going to be in divine timing, and life is going to feel hard. Okay, so this is one of the reasons we work so diligently on owning our worth, on loving ourselves unconditionally, on treating ourselves as if we matter. Because our greatest joy is when we're in peace, when we're in a state of harmony, when we're feeling connected, when we're being present, right? But if we are resisting divine timing and controlling, we're not going to experience any of that. We're going to really, really struggle. So our mission in this conversation, in every conversation that we do here on our Own Your Worth Wednesdays, is to really help us move into that high state of worthiness, a high worthiness quotient, as I call it. When you are not feeling like you're in a divine flow and you are trying to control, that is a cue for you to say, wow, I'm not owning my worth right now. Think about that. When you are trying to control the outcome, when you are pushing, when you are shoving, when you are in fear, when you are, what's another example? When You think that it should have been done yesterday instead of allowing. When you're not being patient, you haven't owned your worth. It's something to chew on, isn't it? When you are trying to control, you haven't owned your worth and you're not allowing divine timing to happen. Now, here's the beauty of allowing divine timing. It's so cool that when you say, I trust that I'm worthy and that I can take my time and allow things to unfold and be in that divine flow, when you trust that, you have so much more time on your hands. You have time to play. You have time to create. You have time to rest, to take a nap. You have time to just be and do whatever you want to do. Think about how much time we spend in our heads trying to control things and trying to make things happen, putting ourselves in resistance to divine timing, making ourselves nutty, right? And we're the ones who are holding that vibration. And so that's what shows up. But when we say, I am worthy of taking my time, I am worthy of allowing it to unfold, I am worthy of trusting the universe and knowing that the universe is going to stand up and support me. Wow, life gets so much easier. Life gets so much more joyful. So I want you to think about this for a moment in your life. Are you judging the timing about something in your life? Maybe your judgment is on yourself. Maybe you're looking at yourself going, well, I should be further along on my path. How many times do we do that, right? So what you're doing is you're actually judging your divine timing. When in reality, if you'd say, you know what, where I am is perfect and divine, you'd find yourself opening up because you're in a state of acceptance, and you'd find yourself moving deeper into a state of flow. You'd find yourself really starting to get into that match of feeling like your life is flowing, right? But we don't do that. Okay. So, what I want you to think about right now is, where am I judging this? Where am I judging my timing? Do I think I should have been further along in my career? Do I think I should have had a partner in a relationship and I haven't done it? And I'm judging that because I'm judging the timing on it, right? So look at this in your life. I want you to just look at it. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a meditation on this, and with specific to your situation, I want you to think about it. We're going to go into the meditation. We're going to look at where you're controlling it as far as divine timing, okay? And if you were to really allow yourself to release it, to imagine what that would feel like. And I'll let spirit guide me, because I'm not really sure where the meditation's going, as I never do, because I let God guide me. So we're going to just go in here and see what this is about, so that you can start setting the tone as we're still in this month of January in the new 2022, of being in divine timing through the year. Think about how much more joyful your year will be if you allow yourself to be on divine timing. Think about how much more peaceful, how much more balanced, how much more relaxed, how much more fun, how much more playful, how much more creative. If you say, from this point forward, I'm allowing myself to be on divine timing. It's going to be huge, rather than trying to control. So let's do this. Let's go into this meditation. If you haven't already shut the door, if you need to take a moment to do that, just so you can have some quiet space, I'm going to grab a swig of water, and then we're going to dive into this. Okie dokie. So I want to invite you right now to close your eyes. Take a breath. Hold it. And release. Take another deep breath. Hold it and release. Continue to breathe, breathing in through the nose, holding it and releasing. And as you release, allowing every muscle in your body to relax. Breathing in, continuing to breathe in, hold it, and release. Let's take a moment to get grounded. I want you to visualize opening up the crown of your head like it's a big camera lens and allowing the light of love, the light of abundance, the light of trust and peace and harmony to flood into the crown of your head. Imagining that energy washing any stuck energy around your face, around the back of your head. Imagine it all relaxing. Moving that light now down into your jaw, into your neck. Breathing into this. You might even want to move your head around, get the energy to break up a little bit. Allowing that light now to go down into your shoulders, bringing it down your arms. Imagine it coming out of your hands, your fingertips, and the palms of your hands. Imagine just surrendering control right now. We're surrendering. You can even imagine that if you're holding the reins of your life, you take those reins and you hand them over to the universe. Say, I don't want this anymore. And allow that light now to move from your shoulders down into your chest. Continuing to breathe down into your belly, your hips, down your legs. Imagine going all the way to your feet, at the bottoms of your feet, opening up, allowing any energy you're ready to release, any stuck energy, any control energy, any fear energy, let it all release. And now imagine that you're so full of light that it's now overflowing into that energy field around you. Imagining that you're in an egg of energy that is arm's length all the way around you. This is your aura, clearing this energy on the inside and the out. Imagine everything dumping down to the bottom of your aura under your feet. And then imagine a beautiful column of light that's on the outer edges of your aura, beginning right about the hips. And allow all this energy that's dumping to go down a column of light underneath your feet, down to the center of the earth. Getting fully grounded and centered here. So I want you to go back to thinking about where are you controlling your divine timing? Maybe it's in every area of your life. Maybe it's, as we mentioned, in your career. Maybe it's about having a relationship. Maybe it's about judgment about yourself, about where you should be on your spiritual journey. Maybe it's something very simple about wanting to buy a new car and I should have had it yesterday. It can be something as simple as that. So I want you to just think about that for a moment as you're in this space of your being in a state of awareness. I want you to feel your body. How does it feel when you are in this controlled state? So get into awareness of what your body's doing. Are you tightening up? Do you feel your breathing is a little shorter rather than a deep breath? Be in awareness. Breathing into this. Now I want to invite you right now to call in that little 5-year-old inner child of yours, a little kid, and say hello to her or him. and ask, pertaining to the situation, this little kid, what scares you about letting go of the controls and being in divine timing? See what she says. What scares you? What scares you about letting go, no longer controlling, and being on divine timing? If you feel any emotions coming up, let them come up, acknowledge them. Breathing into this. What scares you about being in divine timing, about letting go of the of the of the controls? Breathing into this. Now I want you to know that are if you are having fear around something bad is going to happen, that's all it is. It's a fear. It's your fear. It's trying to keep you safe. So I want you to imagine putting that fear in a rose. Putting that fear in a rose and then sending that rose out into the universe and blowing it up like confetti. And now I want you to imagine that in front of you is this beautiful screen, like a movie screen. And I want you to let your imagination have some fun right now and think, if I let go of the controls and I trusted divine timing, what would my life look like right now? I want you to imagine, am I being more playful? Am I spending more time in a joyful state? Am I creating? Am I painting? If am I taking walks in the woods? Am I talking to friends? Am I doing work that I love? What would that look like? What would that look like? And let yourself get excited about this, okay? Let yourself get really, really excited, like, oh my gosh, look how much more fun it would be. Look at how peaceful I would be. And I want you to imagine that and feel it, okay? I want you to feel that energy. So just saying yes to it. And as you're feeling that energy, I want you to just imagine that your vibration is getting higher and higher and higher, knowing that as you're saying yes to it and you're trusting it, that you will then draw the things to you that will help you create the vision that you're seeing. Breathing into this, saying yes to it. I'm saying yes to this. The fear is what keeps me stuck. It's what keeps me on a perpetual hamster wheel. I'm saying yes. divine timing. I'm saying yes to trust. And I want you to feel that energy flooding through your whole being. Feel it coming through your body, coming through your aura, coming through your feet. It feels so good. I want you to feel this energy. It feels so beautiful. And I want you to look at that little kid inside of you and say, I give you permission to do this. I give you permission to be in this kind of divine flow, to have this kind of fun. And once again, I want you to turn up the volume on that feeling. I want you to feel the feeling as if your life is already in the flow and you are on divine timing. You are trusting, you know you're worthy, you're having a grand old time. I want you to feel that feeling. Breathing into this. Feels so good. Mm. Feel the energy moving through your body. I want you to see yourself celebrating that you are living on divine timing, that you've let go of controls, that you're enjoying your life more, and that you're living in a state of trust. I want you to say yes to this. Yes, yes, yes. Breathing into this. And then when you're ready, you can come back into this space. So, one of the beautiful things about living in divine timing, and I know you've had moments, right? You've had those moments where it feels synchronistic and you feel like, oh wow. Well, your life can be like that on a daily basis if it's not already. What I want you to understand is that in any moment you can choose. So you can choose to be in fear, you can choose to be in control, and you can choose to push and shove, and then that moment you say to yourself, wait, it's about being in awareness, right? Like they always say 95% of healing and living a life you want is to be in awareness, right? Well, being in awareness of when you're resisting divine timing, when you're being impatient, when you're judging yourself for not having gotten far enough or whatever it is you're wanting to create, when you recognize it and you say, oh, okay, again, I said this earlier, that means I am not owning my worth. So, how in this moment can I own my worth? How in this moment can I say, I am worthy of taking time? And sometimes it's just taking baby steps of trust. Sometimes it's doing what is in your heart and saying, okay, well, today I don't feel like going and doing 10 hours of work. It's not ringing true for me. What's my soul is telling me right now is that I need to just be quiet. I need to do some journaling. I need to spend some time with myself. And then when you do that and you do it without guilt, you put yourself in a high vibration so that then maybe tomorrow you can get all of that work done with grace and ease. Now you're on divine timing. So it's about recognizing when you're pushing, when you're shoving, when you're trying to make things happen in what you're in your time frame, and then saying, that's me not owning my worth. And you take a stand. You also can look at that little kid inside of you and say, I get that you're afraid. I get that you're trying to control this situation right now. And I want you to know that I love you and that I have your back. And I'm telling you, you don't have to do that. that sometimes can shift it right then and there, just because you become that woman leader of love to that little kid inside of you. Okay. And so as you become that woman leader of love to her, she now feels heard and seen and valued. And maybe she doesn't need to control it anymore and try to push. If you find that that doesn't stop it, you can use your energy tools. You can go through, run energy, see if you can release it. If that doesn't work, another step you can do is then you can look at that little kid inside of you and say, what is the belief you're holding on to that says the universe won't support you? Okay, because when we are pushing and shoving, we're performing and we're taking a stand and saying, I don't believe the universe is going to support me. Well, of course, the universe is going to support you. It supports you. If you're going to push and shove, it's going to show you pushing and shoving. If you are going to, if you want to see love, then you do love, and then the universe is going to mirror that back to you. So the universe is always going to support you. It's just, how do you want to have that experience, right? So know that if you continue to push and shove, there is a belief that is in your subconscious mind that you're holding on to that is keeping you in fear. And that's when you look at that little kid inside of you and you say, what is the belief that is causing you to stress? What is the belief that's causing you to push? What is the belief that says you can't take your time and trust that the universe has your back? So this is what you want to do in these situations as you walk through 2022. So with that said, I want to open up for anybody who has a question. And it was so funny when I first got on here today. I said, I've had some technical difficulties over the last couple of weeks with doing the stream, and I just saw that my assistant Jen came up on my phone with a message going, "Are you doing your Own Your Worth Wednesdays today?" So I can only assume it's not streaming properly. I was like, oh, well, I guess that's divine timing too. One of these days is going to stream on all platforms properly. I mean, it may not even be on Facebook today for all I know. So, but anyway, I just wanted to open up for those of you who are on the Zoom portion of this call. You can ask questions. I can see that Instagram is running. If you have a question, I will come back to you after this session and answer anything that I can on the actual feed. And for the same thing for Facebook, if we are running on Facebook, I have no idea as of this moment. But if you have a question, I will get to that afterwards. If you want to ask your question live, you have to be on the Zoom call. If you'd like to be on the Zoom portion of this call on a weekly basis, you can get my free Worthiness Quotient Breakthrough Bundle, totally free. It's my ebook for women leaders of love and 3 guided meditations that are very powerful. You can go to terribritt.com/leaders and get that. And then each week you'll get the Zoom link to join us on the Zoom portion of this call. So for anyone who wants to ask a question, we do have quite a few people on today. You can raise your hand. There is a little reaction face on the bottom of the screen. You click it and then there will be a bar that says raise your hand. You can raise your hand and I will open you up to talk to you, just to see if anybody has a question, any comments. Surely somebody has something to say. Did anything come up for anyone as far as you realize that you're really struggling with divine timing and you need some support, because this is your time to get some laser coaching? If you would like some support on that, it's up to you. And if not, then we will call it a day. If you're having trouble and you say, I can't figure out how to raise my hand, you can unmute yourself. You'll just see a microphone. I don't know how it is on your phone, but on my computer screen, it's at the bottom. There's a red mark through it. You take your cursor and you click it, and that'll open up your mic. So if you have if you want to say something and you can't figure out how to open up your mic, that's another way, or you can't raise your hand, that's another way to do it. So does anybody want to ask a question? One of the things that I have been noticing is that people are really hesitant to ask questions and to communicate because this is a live feed, although it may not be today, other than on Instagram. But I'm really considering just not taking questions from now on and just doing a little meditation as we've done today. because I understand that, so much of this stuff is private. I can tell you that we have our divine level, which is twice a month on the second and fourth Wednesdays of the month. And we meet in a private call. I think to start out with, it's 19.95 a month. And we go deep. We go into a lot of questions. Nobody's on camera. I'm not even on camera. It's very, very private. And then I think after the first month, it's $34.95 a month. So you're literally paying like $15, twice a month. And you are getting intense healing, intense healing, and asking lots of questions, lots of laser healing. So if you want to check that out, if you feel safer in that environment, then you can go to terribritt.com/healings. It's either healing or healings. I need to figure out this URL. It's healings or healings. And you'll see that when you go down, it says divine level. I think it says energetic healing, and it says tapping into the divine, free meditation. There's several things on the thing, but then it says the divine level. And that's something that you might want to check into if you're wanting more privacy, to be able to ask your questions, because I understand that that's an issue. So somebody does have their hand raised. It looks like Alicia. I am going to ask you to unmute yourself. Let me see if I can unmute you.
Hi there.
Hi, Alicia. How are you?
Great.
I like the exclamation point after your name.
Yeah. Thanks so much. I really enjoy your meditations. I have a question about not last week, but the week before, when we did the meditation, and we felt divine love, and I felt a huge amount of love, but it was like I could only allow in a small portion of that. And it was really crazy, because I've been practicing letting love in and often feel really aligned. The meditation today kind of helped me answer some questions and move into this space of ease. But when it was like I was standing face to face with all that love, or feeling myself so surrounded by that, it was like there was so much more I could let in, but wasn't letting in yet. Or I was wondering if you could help me with that.
Yeah, absolutely. And, that's the whole thing about worthiness, is that the more you feel worthy on the inside, the more you'll be receptive to letting that love in. That's the whole thing, is the love is always there. It's, are we going to let it in? So a lot of times we carry beliefs that tell us, no, you can't have this much, or you're selfish. So I want to just ask you to do something with me, Alicia. I want you to just close your eyes for a moment. And if anybody else has felt this, you can do this exercise as well. But I want you to imagine that little Alicia is standing there in front of you, and you can even pull her up on your lap. I want you to ask her, what is it that is keeping that love at bay? Why is she pushing it away? Why is she not letting it in? And see what she says. And you can tell me whatever comes up for you.
Because it might leave.
It might what? Leave. Oh.
It might leave. It might show me something I don't want to see.
Okay, so there's some fear there, right?
Yeah.
So a lot of times when we've had maybe something show up in our lives and then it disappeared, maybe a loss of a loved one, a loss of an animal, a pet or something like that, then the pain is so intense that we don't want to feel that love again. Have you ever had anything like that happen?
Oh, that resonates. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or something changes. It's still part of my life, but it changes shape so profoundly that I feel loss.
Yes, right. So it's kind of like that old saying, it's better to have loved and lost than never loved at all.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So do you want to continue out of fear to hold love at bay, or do you want to be courageous and say, I want to let love in?
Well, absolutely be courageous.
Right.
I think, yeah.
So that's the conversation you can start having, Alicia, with that little girl inside of you, is start telling her, you are so courageous. I understand that you've been hurt in the past and you've had loss. And I understand how badly that hurts. But I just want you to know how courageous you are to take a risk and let love in. And think about that in your life on a day to day basis. I don't know about you, but I can tell when I'm not letting love in, I'll shut down. I'll cross my arms or over my chest, or I'll be resistant. And I can watch my body language with someone, right? And so you can make a conscious decision. Am I opening up my heart? Am I letting love in? And in every moment, you can decide to be courageous or not. And in those moments where you're not, you can say to that little girl inside of you, I get it. It's really scary. And I love you. And it's okay right now. The more you love her that way and she feels safe, the more she's going to let love in.
Mm-hmm. That resonates beautifully. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's about having that conversation. Here's another thing about letting love in. We watch our families, our teachers, society not let love in.
Very
Okay.
true.
Very true, right? So we take it as that this is the way life is supposed to be. So recognizing that that's not the truth, that if you want to really lead a life of peace and joy and being in that abundance, you've got to let love in. You have to let love in. That's why when we talk about loving yourself, cleaning up the false beliefs, treating yourself as if you matter, every one of those things, when you do that, you're letting love in. Okay. So you are taking a step. Every time you love yourself, you're letting love in. So your goal is to continue to do that, making that little girl inside of you feel so safe so that now she lets love in from the outside world. She lets it when you're in that meditation, she lets that love in to flood through her whole being. When she's out in public, she lets love in. The person on the street letting you pass them or cut inside the line if you're in traffic, that's letting love in. All of those are little things of letting love in. And so the more we do that for ourselves, then the universe says, oh, she wants to experience letting love in. She wants to receive love. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And here's the beauty of it. We're so programmed in our society that receiving love is bad, but when you're not receiving, that's when you're in lack. And that's when there's competition. That's when there's emotional distress. When you let love in, you have more love to give. Okay.
Brilliant. Of course. Yeah.
Think about that.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
When you let love in, you have more love to give. So I want you to think about that. Okay.
Great. Thank you.
Just think of, I am courageous. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Thank you. That was such a great question. Thank you so much for asking, because I love to be able to coach you guys. So when you ask questions, it lets me share my gifts, because that's where I get a lot of my, my downloads come through when you ask the questions. So I really appreciate you being courageous, Alicia, and asking that question. That's awesome.
Well, thanks so much for the answer.
You're welcome. Thank you. You can mute yourself. Let me see if I can mute you. Okay. So, Sydney says, Luce says, thank you for your teachings. You're welcome. And then Sydney says, is there a link between manifestation and divine timing? Absolutely. And then she says, how to align our manifestation process with universal rules of divine timing. So when you're manifesting and you're looking at, you want to create something, this is how I do it. I get really clear on what I want to create. And I'll say, or this or something better. Okay. And then I will look at, do I have any doubt around that this can be created? And so that's when I'll go inside and look at myself. I'll talk to the little kid inside of me and say, where is your doubt? Because doubt is based in a belief about what you deserve or how you feel if something can show up. So I'll look at those beliefs and I'll clear them, because I know that if they're causing me doubt, if they're causing me fear, they're not the truth. So I go through that process. as I do that, and I do it on what feels right for me, I'm gradually making my vibration go up. I'm raising my worthiness quotient. As it comes up, whatever you're wanting to create is here, as I've often said. And then as you clear out the beliefs, as you continue to love yourself, as you continue to follow the inner guidance of steps that you're given, maybe you get a nudge to, to go do something for the day, and then something shows up. What happens is that you're taking action steps, you're listening to the guidance. And as you do, you're sending a message to the universe that says, I'm saying yes to this. And then what happens is when you get into alignment with the vibration, that is perfect divine timing. Now, as far as, can you rush it up? I mean, I guess you can. I've never really seen what I see as far as rushing something in divine timing is when I completely surrender it. When I can completely surrender and be unattached to something showing up, that's when it shows up the fastest. Okay. So if I am trying to control it, if I'm trying to push it, if I'm trying to make it happen, it takes longer and longer and longer because I'm in resistance and I'm not allowing myself to receive the love of the universe. When I can completely say, I surrender, I let go, then that's when the miracles show up. I mean, I think you guys have probably heard over and over my story, and I'll share it again just in case you've never heard this. But when I really got that the universe is unlimited and that I can manifest with the universe was when I was doing well, I'd already gotten it, but this was the big one. When I was doing my tour, my book tour for Message Sent back in the early 2000s, I get to New York. It's during it's after the Iraq War crisis, and everything's getting canceled, or it's during the Iraq War crisis, so everything's getting canceled. All my interviews are getting canceled. I'm kind of wanting to control things, and then my spirit's going, no, I'm not going to, because I know better. I was really learning to not control, and just be and allow things to happen. Well, then my manager wanted me to go see Thoroughly Modern Millie or Hairspray. Get on the internet. I'm like, I don't know about this. They're expensive. I don't even know if I want to see them. And so my spirit was saying, I just want to be a vegetable. I want to be quiet. I want to be relaxed. Tomorrow I'm going to get up and go to the gym, and then we'll see what happens. So I get up and go to the gym the next day. I did all that, no guilt. Okay. So I was really loving myself, nurturing myself, being in a high vibration, in a high worthiness quotient. And I didn't have any guilt, because guilt will bring that vibration down. If, I should be doing this or I should be doing that. So I let go of any guilt. The next day I go to the New York Health and Racket Club. I start talking to this woman, take the class, come back out, talk to her again. And she asked me, if I, how long I'm in town, am I going to see any plays? And I told her that my manager wanted me to see Thoroughly Modern Millie or Hairspray. And she says, oh, I'm in management at the Marriott Marquis. Thoroughly Modern Millie is playing in our theater. How about I take you as my guest? That was huge, right? I mean, that's when I knew the universe was unlimited, but I also understood that when I surrendered and I let go of the controls, and I didn't worry about the outcome, I didn't worry about the divine or about the timing, that a miracle could happen within 24 hours. And it was a huge miracle when you think about being in New York City, in all the gyms, all the places, and I meet the one person at the specific class that can take me to see the play, to see Thoroughly Modern Millie. And I did go, and it was amazing, and we became friends, and it was just incredible. So when you can let go of holding on is when you'll manifest the fastest. And it's because you are in that divine alignment. But it's understanding that when things aren't happening quickly, that the universe is getting things in order for you. And that if you have judgment on it, there is a gift in the judgment, because it's showing you how you have still not owned your worth. You're still not loving yourself. So if there is judgment and you can't trust, see it as an opportunity to love yourself more. So I hope that helps, Sydney. If you can give me a response there, that would be great. And then if anybody else wants to raise their hand, let me see what she says. Okay, who's this raising? Okay, so Anne's trying to raise her hand. Okay, Anne, I'm going to ask you to unmute. Let me see if you can unmute. Yeah, there you go. You there?
Hello.
Hi, Anne.
Hello.
Hi. How are you?
Well, I'm struggling quite a lot. I'm in your course
For the
online.
quotient course? Uh-huh.
Yes, I like it very much. I am taking it. I'm doing it very intensively, but um, I'm not moving very fast. I go often back to previous lessons. I'm now at lesson 4. I've ended it, but then I go back to the beginning, what I like to do or what I need at that moment.
Good.
Yeah, and I like it a lot because it's all the things I love, and also because it's always compassionate and joy also going deep to the little child and to memories. So it's quite heavy too, but I'm happy to follow it. But yeah, now where I'm struggling with is my whole life. I feel blocked at the one hand, but I have complex trauma,
Mhm,
childhood trauma.
mhm.
But at the one hand, I'm always blocked. But on the other hand, I have a very big drive.
Mhm.
But I slept almost 25 years of my life with a burnout and which is very severe.
Mhm.
So it's like I may not uh, manifest anything.
Well,
And yes, and another thing is that I'm panic in panic to connect with people.
you're panicked to connect with people, or you want to, or you're afraid to.
I I I'm in panic and I don't know how to do it anymore. So there is a lot of things that I want to do, a lot of ideas, also things that I'm talented for.
Mhm.
I think I am able to be social, but all these things are very blocked.
So I'm going to tell you what I see as far as the block. Okay.
Yes,
I see grief.
yes, I have a lot of grief.
Yeah,
Yes,
there's a lot of grief. And so, what I want to encourage you to do is to spend some time with the grief instead of pushing it down. I want to invite you to talk to little Anne, maybe journal with her, and write about the grief of your trauma, because what it feels like is that your body is stuck in the grief. It feels like the energy of the grief is like it's got you anchored in your body, so that you're wanting to have these experiences, but you feel like you can't. So what I'm seeing is that to give voice to the grief, and you don't have to be buried in it. You can, as you're giving voice to it, you can say, what I do is when I am in a state of grief like that, it's really easy to go down a dark rabbit hole.
yes,
The way to avoid that is to give thanks for the healing that is happening
yeah,
while you're in the grief. Okay. So thank you, thank you, thank you. This really hurts. This feels horrible, but I'm so grateful that a healing is happening right now. So just by doing that, you're shifting the vibration, you're shifting the energy from being a victim to being empowered. Okay. Because when we go into that dark place and, oh, why is this happening to me? We're in victim mentality. And so we're going into a very low worthiness quotient. But when you say, thank you for the healing that is happening, thank you for the clearing that is happening, you are creating the clearing. And
yes,
so I want to invite you to do that first off. Okay. And then what I want you to understand is the way you're doing the course is exactly the way you want to do the course.
Yes.
You are listening to your instincts, okay? And you're saying, I need to go back to lesson one. I need to go back. I had one woman send me a message and she says, I have taken 6 months to do this course. And she says, I am doing cartwheels. My little girl's doing cartwheels because I am so joyful because there is so much information that I learned about myself through this.
Yeah.
So I want you to just, instead of pushing right now, let's take this like what we've been talking about today on divine timing, Anne, is I really want you to say, you know what, I'm going to take this course and where I am right now in my life and take a stand for divine timing
Yeah.
rather than pushing. Because what's really happening is that little girl inside of you says, I have to push, I have to push. And when you allow that to take over, you're allowing her to be the boss.
Yeah.
Okay.
With-
You want to be the boss. You want to be the woman leader of love, the divine mother to that little girl. And you want to say to her, you know what, honey? You don't have to push. Let's enjoy this day. Let's be a kid. Let's be in the moment and have those conversations with her so that you can slow down and just get present. And like you're having probably a lot of shifts right now in consciousness by taking the course, taking the worthiness quotient course. You're probably having a lot of shifts in consciousness. Are you celebrating them or are you pushing to get to the next healing?
yeah,
Because
I'm pushing.
you're
I'm pushing
pushing,
very
aren't you?
hard.
I know you are because I understand that because I'm that type of person too.
Yes.
And so I want to invite you to say, wait, look at the awareness I just had. Look at the win I just had. I'm going to go celebrate. I'm going to go go to a movie. I'm going to go have a glass of wine with a girlfriend and I'm going to talk about the awareness I just came
Yes.
through. Okay.
Yes.
So really want you to do that. And there's no pushing here. This
No.
is divine timing, allowing. Okay.
Yes.
That
But
help a little bit?
yeah, that helped. Yeah. And when the little kids, when you said, um, when you stop pushing in a meditation, then I had a feeling, oh, then I'm all alone and then I don't have anybody or anything. Because I'm kind of person, and as I was a kid, like I was suffering. I had a very hard time, but I had a world of my own where everything was perfect, and I felt one with the nature and with art and music, and I kept that till I was 25 or so. I kept that connecting with art and nature. But it seems like, yes, yeah, the connection with people is something, yeah, that's very hard because you can't share anything, or I'm afraid about a lot of things and
So, but remember this, Anne, that all the things you're afraid of, that's the little kid inside of you not feeling safe.
yes,
So the more you nurture her, the more you do the work in the worthiness quotient, the more you practice that on a daily basis.
I do that, yes,
And what happens is that when you're out in public and you don't feel safe, those tools kick in.
yes,
Right? So you really, that's why you want to practice every single day, having the conversations, the meditation, the clearing of the energy. I mean, your spiritual practice that you do on a daily basis, which is really what the worthiness quotient is, right? It's a real deep spiritual practice on a daily basis. Is that when you do that every single day, you build the muscles. You
yes,
build the safety muscles, the love muscles, so that when something comes up that doesn't feel safe, you have your little spiritual fanny pack or your spiritual tool chest and you go, oh, I use this, I use this. It's no different than building muscles and going to the gym.
yes,
So I want to ask you to take a stand today for being kind and gentle to yourself.
yes,
Okay.
okay,
And to really tell that little girl inside of you that You don't have to push. I'm going to love you no matter what.
Mhm.
And to have that conversation. And the more that she sees that you continue to love her and you keep showing up, the more she's going to trust, and the more that she'll feel safer to be in the world and have these experiences that you're wanting to experience. Right now, the thing is kindness and gentleness. Okay.
Yes.
You said that you felt the compassion in the course, right?
Yes.
So let that be your focus. Okay.
Mhm.
Let that be it so that you can just go deeper into that state of love. And so that you can do all these things you have to do, because I can see right now the grief. This is what it looks like to me. When I look at your energy, if you looked at your aura, the grief is on the outer edges of the aura. And then underneath it is pink. It's all this loving energy.
Yes.
So what I'm feeling is like, it's almost like the grief is a filter that is ready to shift. But
Mhm.
it's not about pushing it, it's about loving it.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, it's very helpful. Thank you.
You're welcome. Alrighty. I see I'm gonna mute you, and then I see one last, oh, it's already three, but I'll take this one last question. It says iPhone. I do not know who this is, but I'm going to ask you to unmute whoever that is.
Hi,
Hi, who's this?
I'm Terry with the I, Terri.
That's me too.
I know. And I just finally said, at first no one was talking and I came in from yoga class, and I just want to do a big shout out for you. I just so appreciate your energy and what you do for so many women. And it's amazing, different threads of support. It just amazes me how much pain we're all in and how much we carry. And we all think we're alone in our own story, no matter who we live with, share with, love. And it just amazes me every Wednesday when I tune in.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my gosh, I feel that. I just everything resonates. So I just want to thank you.
Oh, thanks,
for,
Terry.
and I know I'm near the end, so you don't have to do a quick read on my energy and tell me that my aura is pink or blue or yellow. But hopefully it's.
I do want to say this. I do want to say this thing to you, though. I see some ropes around your wrist, and
thank you.
so I want to invite you to take the ropes off and say, "I'm here, world."
Thank you.
Okay, nothing like this. I'm here, world. I'm here, and I'm saying yes. So that's my message for you.
What color were those ropes? Were they ropey or steel?
They were ropes. No, they were ropes. They were just, I'm just ropes. And what was so interesting about them, Terry, is they're not even, it was like they were like a little 5-year-old tried to tie their shoe and it was all loosey goosey.
So funny.
It was almost like it was a self-imposed rope that it was like, it's not even there. And all you have to do is go, "Oh, I'm done," like the magician.
It's so funny. That's the space that I'm in, sort of like the heart, open heart. And
Yeah.
my right wrist was hurting today when I woke up. That's so weird. So there you go.
There you go. So now you know, right? And so remember the right wrist and the right, I think the wrist is about change, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong. You might want to do this spiritual symbolism of that on Google, but the right side is the analytical mind. So it's telling you to get out of the thinking and be, yes, I'm here.
Free as a bird.
Yay!
Oh my gosh. Thank you.
Thank you, Terry, I appreciate you so much for speaking up. I'm going to mute you out now. And guys, I'm going to say thank you for being here. I have no idea if we made it onto Facebook today from what my assistant sent that message. So we're going to see what's happening. One of these days we'll figure out these technical glitches and just laugh along the way with divine timing. But I wanted to say I appreciate you guys so much showing up. It gives me an opportunity to share my voice and my gifts and serve, which when you show up, it allows me to serve, which then helps me live my joy. And I appreciate that so much, right? Because we all want to serve and be in that space. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Let me just see, I think we're good. Okay, we're good. So I just want to close out now saying thank you. I want to send everybody some love. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And I want you, as you sit in this space for a moment, to see yourself walking again in divine timing. And that as you leave this session today, that every time that you find yourself controlling and recognizing that you are resisting divine timing, that you laugh and you say, "Oh, I see you. I see what you're doing here. We're not going to do that right now." And you just take those reins of your life and you hand them over to the universe, and then you settle into what feels right for you in that moment, because that is what's going to take you into manifestation and being in a divine flow. So love you guys so much. Have a great week, and I'll see you same time next week. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye.